Hello,
Awesome.
everyone.
Oh,
Ben
sorry.
Briggs here for PPC Better, your Nashville-based digital marketing agency. I'm joined today by Gildner. So you can introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Gil. I run a small PPC agency that is based in Arkansas. We have three folks. We just do kind of a very tight focus on e-commerce and kind of SaaS tech stuff. But uh, yeah, been doing this about 6 years full time and a lot longer than that before then. But good to
Awesome.
be here.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. So today, what I want to talk about is how to choose an agency. So if you're a client, you're an advertiser, maybe you're in-house, you're a digital marketing manager who manages agencies, or maybe you're a direct client, you are a CMO, any kind of a marketing person in a larger enterprise, and you're evaluating which digital marketing agency should handle your Google Ads account. What are the kinds of things that you would look for?
Yeah, I think there's so many answers to that because it's not like there's one perfect agency out there for everybody. But that's a good thing because that there's lots of different scenarios, use cases, and a lot of different perfect agencies for each one. Um, I have found if you're an enterprise, if you're like a Fortune something, Fortune 10 company, there are going to be agencies built directly for you. So if you're Walmart or, something massive, not only do you have an in-house team of 100 people doing PPC, but you have multiple agencies, only existing to do your ads. So then it starts breaking down as you go down market to mid-sized companies and even larger companies, and they're looking for specialists, and those guys are the agencies that are maybe pretty small, maybe larger, maybe anywhere from one person to 25 people that are probably pretty specialized in paid search or paid social or something like that. And then once you get down to small businesses, it's more you're looking for like consultants or freelancers or even just a very small agency. I personally think the more attention on an account, the better for anyone involved. If you're looking for a huge agency, they're not going to give your account a whole lot of attention unless you're paying them millions a month like Walmart can. So there's big agencies out there that are super high volume, and do have a lot of clients. They'll have 1,000 clients, but you're you're probably going to get what you pay for and not a whole lot of attention. So I always encourage mid-sized to small businesses to go the kind of the boutique route. Someone who is focused not even just on your size market business, but what you're selling specifically, because you will find that those agencies out there. Um, Someone having experience in that is just really valuable, whatever your niche is.
Sure.
Um,
So I think one thing that a lot of people run into, so you're maybe a mid-size account, you spend somewhere between like $25,000 and $250,000 a month on Google Ads. So the spend substantial, and the results of what you get out of your campaigns makes a big difference in your actual business. So if you're an advertiser like that and you're trying to evaluate agencies, I think one of the things that we see a lot is that if you're looking at three different agencies, in a lot of cases, they're going to be saying substantially similar things. They're going to be saying, "Hey, we're going to, match your keywords to your ad copy. We're going to make sure that you're using the best bidding strategy possible." So if you've got three different agencies and they're all kind of saying the same things, are there any questions that you might be able to ask to differentiate the type of service that you're going to get when you eventually engage with any one of them?
yes, and this is a hard thing to maybe set in stone. It's a very intangible thing, but when you're working with a specialist, a small agency, even more important than the actual technical answers that they give you to questions are their vibe. Because if you're a smaller mid-sized company and you're going to like be working pretty closely with your agency, you're going to have one or two points of contact there. Most important is if they communicate in the same like rhythm and pattern as you, and the amount you need, tell you what you need to hear, what you don't want to hear. You, I most important, I think, is just gauging how how does this agency communicate? Is this what I'm used to? Are they going to integrate well with the rest of my team? If I send, if I send 20 emails a week, are they going to be okay with that? Uh, Maybe some agencies are, but you know, just establish kind of that communication and the pace and the rhythm of it, and everything past then will be much easier. Especially if the agency is giving you similar technical advice, which they should if they're correct, then it's really just about communication. So
Yeah.
and
So
that
what?
changes to each agency and client. Like
Yeah. So what are the couple, two or three most important technical recommendations that you'd be looking for to just kind of set the table of that, hey, this agency's proficient, like they understand the Google Ads platform, they understand what's required to make the Google Ads platform work in a way where it's going to be profitable for an e-commerce advertiser?
I would say that, yeah, there are some things that are just kind of givens, like they have to do this. And if they do these, then it's a pretty good indicator they do everything else pretty well. The first would be testing. They have to have a plan of experimentation and testing. You need to hear from them that they're going to be A/B testing ads, that they're going to test different campaign types, maybe have a few different experiments running on remarketing or something like that. Just you don't want them to turn on ads and never touch it again, which is a danger for someone who doesn't know what they're doing in ads. You don't want someone to just flick a switch to set up a campaign and go. So you do want to hear from them that they're going to be testing things, that they have an iterative process, that it just kind of builds and gets better. Um, and after that, you want, I think, good reporting. So I think the best agencies will not necessarily report a whole lot. Like you don't need to report every week, but they're going to report very detailed and kind of both strategically and tactically when they do report, like monthly or biweekly or whatever cadence you want. And more, I think agencies are going towards something like Data Studio or Power BI or some form of dashboard that you can look at quite often, if not live, for all the little details. But they'll give you a more strategic report once a month, or have a good long phone call with you just to make sure everything's wrapping up. Lots of ways to do it, and every client wants it a little differently, but just making sure an agency knows their metrics and are displaying them, just that's lets you have a baseline that you can base performance off later. Just make sure everything's buttoned up and just everyone's on the same page when it comes to the actual numbers. The one other thing I would suggest is finding agencies that are, from a technical perspective, are ROI focused, so that whether you're an e-commerce company or a service company, they need to know like your margins. They need to know a lot of your dollar realities. They need to know how much you can actually pay to get a sale or a lead. They need to know how much you really want. And most good agencies will structure their bidding and campaigns to do the best they can within those guidelines. You need to have someone who understands. Basically, find an agency that asks you, okay, what's your cost per acquisition right now? What does it need to be? What kind of return on ad spend are you getting now? What does it need to be? Um, and most good agencies will give you a realistic response of, is this possible? Um, so you do want people being dollar focused when you're talking to them about spending your dollars. Um, so I don't know, that's not really technical, that one, but it can approach technicality.
Sure. Yeah. So, so when it comes to the person who's actually running the day-to-day of your account, the person that's attending the reporting meetings, the person who is, if you maybe make a request, hey, we've got a new promotion running, or we want to make a change to our messaging. There's a new segment of search traffic or type of customer that we want to pursue. The person who's actually going to implement those changes, when you're evaluating different agencies, you should have the opportunity to actually interview that person. And what would be the either types of questions that you would ask that person, or the characteristics or experience level that you'd be looking for in the person who's going to run the day-to-day management of your account? So what would you be looking for in that actual person?
What I would ask is probably, since every account scenario is different, hypotheticals are sometimes really rough because it's they can be generic. So ask a question like, this is an issue we have experienced. How do we fix that? What would you do to fix that? And the response to that should show a lot, I think. Um, it's hard with hypotheticals. Like, you can't just run someone down a quiz of, different Google Ads skills. Like, that's not going to really prove anything about how well they can manage account, but just come to them with a real problem that clearly you're wanting to hire someone else, or someone new, or for the first time, because the ads aren't doing great. So give them the problem you have, explain the details of the account as best as possible, and see what kind of ideas they have for solving the issue. Um, Usually most of us will say it depends, but it's a real answer, but it's also um, not entirely true, because usually there's some indication. If someone's experienced, they'll have a technical answer of some sort.
Sure. Yeah. So, so we've talked about the individual running your account. We've talked about the technical skills to look for and kind of how to differentiate different agencies. Is there anything else that you would think about if you were in the shoes of the digital marketing manager evaluating agencies? Is there anything else that you would want to make sure to raise with the agency before you started the engagement? Or any like deliverables that you would ask? Like, for instance, would you want to give them access to your Google Ads account and have them give some high level recommendations, or would you want to wait until after the engagement started to get to that level of data sharing?
I usually, like, as an agency owner, I like to have access before we commit to the engagement, because that lets me be honest with the person and tell them, can I truly fix it? Because I can't fix everything. We've run across a lot of accounts that's like, this isn't going to work. It's not working. It can't work. And it's much better for us to tell them that right up front before they pay us our money. Um, I Agency owners make their money from long-term relationships more than just one-off. You know, I don't want to work for a client for a month. I want to work for 3-4 years. So give your agency, when you're looking for a potential new agency, give them access to the account, have them look through it, have them tell you the low hanging fruit they can fix right off, have them give you a game plan for the next 3 months, 4 months, even a year, and honestly, like, that will help the agency quote you better. It will help them. They may even be able to tell you, no, we can't help. And it will save everybody a lot of time and energy. Um,
Sure.
but I never hop into an engagement with a client without looking. I just can't I can't afford to do that. And if I can't afford to do that, the client sure can't after I've charged. So
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's
So
all it's
definitely have the new agency take a look, get an understanding of what are the key things that they think they can do. Make sure you've clearly communicated your key performance indicators. As far as if that's revenue, then working with an agency like Gills or an agency like mine is probably a good idea. If it's more awareness, brandy, soft metrics that may or may not make money, then maybe there's other agencies. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so let's put in a plug. So how do people learn more about Gil? If you're a client who who's a good fit for a client, and where would they go to get in touch with you?
For us, if you're a mid-size or small but growing e-commerce company, that's like 90% of what we do. We're huge on Google Shopping, Merchant Center, especially a lot of Shopify stores, and helping people, increase sales that way. That's our gold nugget. That's our desired customer. And discosloft.com is our website, and you can see everything there that we talk about. We're super opinionated in the way we approach ads and analytics, so we're definitely not the fit for everyone. I this morning I had a meeting with a client that's awesome client, but wasn't going to be a fit, and I have to make that clear to a lot of people. So if you like what you see on Discosloth, you'll probably like us. We're really relaxed, not very professional. It's just we're here rocking in our chairs, drinking coffee all day. That's it. So yeah, that's us. E-commerce.
Perfect. Well, go check them out, discosloth.com. Again, I'm Ben
Yeah.
Briggs for PPC Better, ppcbetter.com. Check out our website. If you're a client, you think we might be a good fit for you, fill out the strategy session request form, and we will hop on a call. So thanks everybody for watching, listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.